Just press this button and you'll get a million. A random person will die in the world. Would you press it? In Virginia, USA, in the early hours of Christmas morning, a home's doorbell is suddenly rung. When he went out to check, there was a delivery on the floor, unwrapped. Inside was a plain black wooden box. Both husband and wife thought it was a gift from a friend. They didn't care too much. The family went to work. And attended classes. Mary is a secondary school teacher. After class, the headmaster inexplicably dismisses her, and the man who works at the space agency, who has scored high on every test, but is refused to transfer to astronaut status. Both of them lose their jobs. This adds to the misery of an already poor family. Mary is distraught and is worried. Then someone rings the doorbell. An older man in a suit, with half his face missing, stands at the door. It's a bit creepy, but Mary politely invites him in. But what he says next both surprises and terrifies her. It turns out that the box she received earlier in the morning has a magical function. If she presses the red button, and you will receive $1 million, but as a price, in exchange, a random person in the world will die. Maybe it's someone you know. Maybe it's a stranger somewhere in the world. The two families have 24 hours to think about it. When the time is up, the uncle comes to retrieve the button. In the evening, Mary tells her husband about the strange happenings with the button. The husband thinks it's rather fishy. Maybe the uncle was a murderer. He has killed someone. Now, he wants to find someone to take the blame. He opens the box and studies it. There was nothing inside, but the presence of the button had disturbed the woman's mind. If it was real, $1 million is not a small amount of money. Mary dwells on the button. She couldn't resist the temptation. She pushes the button and nothing seems to have happened. But at the same time, the police are called to a murder. When the police arrived, they found the woman on the floor with no pulse. Soon after, the uncle kept his promise. He comes to the door with $1 million, but the man is still feeling bad about his conscience. He tries to return the money to him, but the uncle tells him that the deal is irrevocable. Without further ado, the uncle, he got into his car and left. The man took down the number of the car. After some investigation, he was surprised by the result. He was amazed by the results. He was an astronaut decades ago, but decades had passed. He hadn't changed a bit. That's not the weirdest part. The most bizarre thing is that there was an accident. He was struck by lightning. He died in the hospital after an unsuccessful rescue attempt. The body was taken to the morgue. The doctor outside suddenly heard him laughing inside. He miraculously came back to life, with half of his face missing. It was because of this accident that lightning bolt in the first place was actually the work of some alien race. Their purpose was to give the uncle superpowers and send him to test his humanity with this box. The only way for a human to pass the test is to refuse to push the button. No sooner has the hero found a clue in the library and is being followed by 5 strangers in plain sight. He looks around for an exit. Not only does he fail to find an exit, but he finds the whole library looking at him. Eventually he is forced into the reading room. And asked to make a choice. 3 water gates appear in front of him. 2 of the doors are punishing doors. Only one of the doors is survivable. He chooses the second one. He chose the second one and was instantly sucked through it. At this moment, in the control room of the space agency, the old man is silently watching all this. He is the man behind the scenes. When the hero wakes up again from his dizzy spell, he finds himself transported home with Mazor. It seems that he has drawn the lucky door. The wife reaches out and touches it. The man falls down with the water. Both husband and wife are confused about this. Both of them are confused as to what has happened. It wasn't long before the older man came to the door again. This time he had bad news for the 2 men. Their son was now locked in the bathroom and had lost both of his senses. He could no longer see or hear. Then he took out a gun and put it on the table, and then said that there were now 2 choices. One is for the man to kill Mary. The son's hearing and sight would be restored immediately, or the man doesn't kill Mary. Then the son would be deaf and blind for the rest of his life. Either way, of course, they can continue to enjoy the million. And with that, he just walks away, given that the uncle had demonstrated his powers many times before. So the couple believed in what he said. In the man's opinion, whether to sacrifice his son or his wife, it was a dilemma. But Mary loves her son so much that she is determined to die. It is better for one person to die than for the family to suffer. The man embraces his wife with affection. He sends his wife off to heaven. The camera pans. At the same time, somewhere in the world, a woman pushes the button of the magic box. The couple are following the same path as the hero and Mary. The police who finally arrive found their son in the bathroom, still shivering after recovering. The husband has been arrested for the murder of his wife. Everything is the same as it was when Mary first pushed the button. The family of the woman who had died. Everything is still repeating itself. At the end of the film, the uncle once again holds the magic box, appears at the door of a house, and rings the doorbell. This test of humanity continues, and until someone refuses to press